I'd like to now introduce the Minister for Regional Transport and Roads, the Honourable Jenny Aitchison.
Sorry, everyone. Thank you so much. My name's Jenny Aitchison and I'm the Minister for Regional Transport and Roads in New South Wales. And I want to thank Auntie Stella first for that beautiful welcome to country, and I too acknowledge the traditional owners, the Gomeroi people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present and also emerging, and to the other Aboriginal people who are here today. And that is something that I always do because it's very important, but also particularly when we're talking about railways and highways, because we know that the generosity of First Nations people in speaking to early European explorers who came here was the way that we have actually mapped out a lot of the routes that we travel today. And as you said, Auntie Stella, that opportunity as well that the railways provided for many Aboriginal people is probably one of the first government jobs that Aboriginal people were able to get. And that is, you know, a really important thing. We know that transport is a social determinant of health, education, opportunity and jobs. And we're so grateful to our First Nations people who helped us all as a community in putting together these rail lines. On this, the first day of National Rail Safety Week, I would really like to pay my personal respects, but also on behalf of the New South Wales Government, to all rail workers who've lost their lives working on the railways throughout Australia's history. And I know there are a lot of dignitaries here, but I do want to call out Toby Warnes as Secretary of the RTBU, a union that represents workers on our railways. And they, as we see on these walls around, have borne the brunt of the safety issues that we've had on the railways over generations. I want to particularly express my sympathy for family members who are here today to remember their loved ones, and thank you for coming and sharing this moment of reflection with all of us. It's also important to remember members of the public who have lost their lives on our railways. And I've just come this morning from Quirindi, where we're looking at installing a level crossing safety treatment on a crossing at Callaghan's Lane, just outside of Quirindi, where someone lost their life last year. And it is a very sobering day in that, while it's happy to see that there are actions being taken, we know that the grief and the loss and the trauma for those families goes on forever. Each death is a tragedy. It causes significant trauma to the families and friends, the communities, but also our first responders. Sadly, on average, each year on Australia's railways, there are 13 deaths from crashes, 71 suspected suicides, and 32 people are injured at level crossings or because of trespass. And there are over 1,650 near-hit incidents. We call them that now because we want to focus on the fact that we could have lost someone. It wasn't a miss, it was a near-hit. Today at Werris Creek, which is a place synonymous with the life of the railways in Australia, we want to particularly focus on those people who lost their lives doing their job. And I think you'll agree that the National Rail Monument, where we are really embraced by at the moment, is a beautiful and poignant reminder and memorial to rail workers who've lost their lives since 1850. More than 4,500 names are inscribed on the Wall of Remembrance. That is a huge number. And I want to make a special appreciation to the massive efforts from the volunteers from the Werris Creek Railway Journeys Museum, who made sure that this wall was up to date for today. In recent months, they've worked tirelessly to collect the names of more than 800 rail workers who've lost their lives in the last 174 years and for some reason were missing from the wall. And I want to thank my colleagues from the Queensland Government who have provided funding, because a lot of those people from Queensland, to add those names to the wall. Gwen Honke, the museum president and wall manager, and her dedicated team have moved heaven and earth literally to get all the details, to get the plaques engraved and installed in time. So I want to congratulate them and thank them. I really encourage you to walk around when we have finished today in the reflection moment to look at those names and reflect on their stories. Each one of them a man, a woman, a child, a teenager, leaving behind devastated families, communities and co-workers. There were hook boys, young teenagers who had the job of hooking carriages together, and there were gate ladies who opened and shut the gates to let trains through. There were fiddlers who laboured across Australia to build and maintain the tracks and other infrastructure, and there were drivers, onboard crew, signal operators and technicians. There was everyone. While we all join to do our best for rail safety, unfortunately deaths and injuries continue to occur on our rail networks. In the past 5 years, 10 rail workers have died in workplace occurrences reported to the Office of National Safety Regulator, ONSA. Families of those people who have died even the past year are here today, and again we pay our particular tribute to them and their contribution, and we wrap our arms around you. We really know that this is a terrible loss for you and your families. Your loved ones will not be forgotten. Today's event is in part about recognising also how much our rail industry contributes. It's crucial for keeping communities connected and for moving essential goods, and it employs around 165,000 people nationwide. So it's important to note that what we come together in what's the first of its kind for a reflection for National Rail workers, we're also signalling our collective intention to work towards a safer future. The New South Wales Government is committed to saving lives and the livelihoods on our railways, and it's so wonderful to see so many rail industry bodies here today that share that vision with us. Werris Creek is known as Australia's first railway town, and I want to mention the critical role that it's played throughout history and continues to play. Established, I feel like a tour operator now because I used to be on tours and come to this place. It's such a special place. But established in 1878 following a decision to build a branch line off the Great Northern Railway to serve the northwest of New South Wales, Werris Creek was determined to be the best location for that junction. And that junction remains an integral part of today's network. And as you drove along, you would have seen all of the modern infrastructure as well as this historical work, and you can see the track workers from ARTC working to upgrade the line today. Each day an Explorer passenger train from Sydney comes to Werris Creek and returns. It divides into two services. One goes from Werris Creek and to Armidale, and the other goes to Moree. And these services provide key transport links to our communities in northwest New South Wales. And I want to thank all of the team at Trainlink New South Wales for their hard work every day in helping provide accessible, affordable public transport services. That allows regional people to get to medical appointments, to get to education, to get to work, to get to see friends and families, or just to actually feel socially included in our communities. Rail jobs continue to support the Werris Creek community, from the freight trains that use these tracks to transporting agricultural produce such as wheat and sorghum to market, to the essential passenger services provided by Trainlink.
Here.
That's right. 14 New South Wales Trainlink drivers are stationed at Werris Creek, and I know that some of them are here today. Put your hands up if you're a Trainlink driver. A few, there we go. Good on you, fellows. And along with a few former drivers. Where are the former drivers? I could hear you over there. And many of them have retired and stayed in the town. For many years, Werris Creek had no one working at the station, but I'm really pleased to say that in 2021, it reopened, and today we have customer attendant Tash Geddes. There you are. Put your bigger than that. And she's a Werris Creek local and a Gomeroi woman who helps people with travel needs. I've been told she's also known as an unofficial tour guide at the Railway Journeys Museum. Tash has the railways in her blood.